Hi, it's Hiro. I've just been hurting a lot lately, and, you know, I was at school the other day, and I saw this crayon on the ground. And it was a worn little crayon, totally abused, malnutritious. It was sad. It made me hurt inside. And I saw this crayon, and it made me think, why was it on the ground? What made it go on the ground? Who put it on the ground? You know? Because it's hard to think that someone would put something like a crayon on the ground when they could use it to, like, write words and stuff. And I mean, think about all the words and pictures that crayon had colored, you know? I mean, it could have some super significance, you know? And then you just throw this crayon on the ground like it's nothing. And then it's like, poor crayon, all the pictures you colored, it's pretty much like they're dead. It's like they're all dead. They died. And then I'm sorry. It really makes you think, you know? How many other pictures that those other crayons on the ground colored, how many of their pictures are dead, you know? So I made this urn for all the crayons in my art room. It's not a lot, but, you know, it's a fairly decent amount of crayons that were on the ground. And I know it looks like a crayon box. It's an urn, okay? It's an urn. And then I look inside my urn and I see this worn crayon, the first one that I found on the ground. And I wanted to live on. I wanted pictures to not die out, because what if some masterpiece was painted with this poor crayon? You don't want it to just be dead. You want it to live on. You want, like, what if Picasso's paintbrushes got thrown in a landfill? Then all of his paintings would be dead, you know? Anyway, I know a lot of you are probably like, why the hell is she wearing a cape? Maybe because this represents how society looks upon people, you know? I mean, think about it. There are a lot of you out there that are probably like, why the fuck is she wearing a cape? Oh my god. Well, maybe because I don't care. Maybe it represents society in the way that everyone looks upon you as if you're some kind of freak if you wear something a little different or extravagant, or you don't wear Hollister and jump around and wear those little mini shorts that everybody wears and those freaking slipper boots. Whatever the fuck they're called, Uggs or whatever. Ugg for ugly. So I'm wearing this cape to symbolize the unification that our society needs to have by eliminating judging people. And it's just difficult to explain unless you actually know the emotional significance that goes on inside one who wears the cape, you know? I mean, you probably don't understand, but it takes a lot of effort to put yourself through what, you know, the non-Hollister people do, and it's just like, why doesn't anyone understand? It's totally ridiculous and irrelevant how they think they're so superior just because they do everything else better. Like, really? It's ridiculous. It's kind of like that one day when no one will wear capes anymore will be like the crayon that was found on the ground, and every person that wore a cape will be, like, dead. Because no one decided to carry out the tradition. Like, really? It just doesn't make any sense, you know? It's weird.
But anyway, so I was sitting here thinking about all those dead pictures and all the dead people that wore capes, and I was just like, I don't want their pictures and people to be dead, so, you know, I'm gonna collect every single crayon I found on the ground, and I'm gonna put it in my urn, and then I'm gonna wear this cape all the time, and then they'll still be alive, you know? So I think that would be pretty useful, you know? Well, if you have any advice for me on how I can stop hurting on the inside from all of this emotional angst and pain that has been thrown in my direction, you can, you know, email me. So, I appreciate that if you have something to say. But if you don't, you know, just whatever. Just whatever. I'll live. It'll all be okay. Everything works out eventually, you know? Not for everyone. It doesn't always work out for everyone. Some people, nothing ever works out. For some people like me. Some people like Elvis. Didn't he die on the toilet? That is not how I want to die. I want to die wearing a cape with my crayon urn, you know? But that's totally whatever.